As we welcome you here tonight to the Saskatchewan Craft Council Gallery, I would like to begin by acknowledging that in Saskatchewan, we are on treaty land. It is important that we recognize that we all have benefits and responsibilities under these agreements. We must acknowledge the harms and injustices of the past and present. We must dedicate our efforts to working together in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation.
In Saskatchewan, we are all treaty people and reside on treaties 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 10. These lands are the traditional territories of numerous First Nations, including Plains and Woods Cree, Sato, Nakota, Dakota, Lakota, Stoney, and Dene, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We have the opportunity to help realize the treaty promises made with Indigenous peoples, to honor the past and the future through traditional and cultural values such as identity, kinship, language, and ceremony.
Acknowledging traditional territory and this relationship is only one of the many steps we can take to recognize the land's history, to pay respects to the Indigenous peoples whose practices and spiritualities continue to develop, grow, and contribute to this land.
Welcome to the awards for Dimensions 2021. Dimensions is the Saskatchewan Craft Council's biennial, open, juried, touring exhibition of contemporary craft, which encourages and rewards excellence in handcrafted work. Jurying Dimensions Online was a new experience for our program this year. We have always prioritized in-person jurying, events and awards presentation for Dimensions. But like everything else this past year, we needed to find a way to host such events safely.
This year, Dimensions received 130 submissions from 83 artists. 35 works by 34 craftspeople were selected for the exhibition, which is currently showing at the Saskatchewan Craft Council Gallery in Saskatoon until August 28th. Dimensions will then be touring until the end of 2022, with stops in Humboldt, Weyburn, and Lloydminster, Saskatchewan, and St. John, New Brunswick. The talent and craftsmanship in this province is incredible, and we are so honored to be a part of this program which encourages and rewards such excellent handmade work. It's my privilege to introduce His Honor, the Honourable Russ Marasty, Lieutenant Governor of Saskatchewan, the honorary patron of the Saskatchewan Craft Council. It's my pleasure to invite His Honor to share a greeting.
Thank you, Maia. Hello everyone. Danse. Bonjour. I'm very pleased to share a message for this exciting award ceremony. I'm joining you from Government House in Regina, which is in Treaty 4 territory and homeland of the Métis. I really enjoyed viewing the impressive Dimensions 2021 artworks in the online gallery. I congratulate each craftsperson whose works were selected this year. The exhibit reflects the tremendous diversity and quality in Saskatchewan's fine craft community. To the artists, your creativity, skill, and discipline are evident in each piece, and I thank you for giving the gifts of your craft to the people of our province. This has been a tough year and a half with all of the pressures created by the pandemic. The exposure the Dimensions gives to the fine craft is needed now more than ever. I'm grateful to the board and staff of the Saskatchewan Craft Council for managing this remarkable touring exhibit and for celebrating excellence through these awards. I also want to acknowledge the jurors, David Freeman and Jane Kidd, for their careful assessment of the submissions. And finally, my thanks to the award sponsors for joining the Saskatchewan Craft Council in honoring and promoting fine craft. In closing, it is my pleasure to bring greetings on behalf of Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Canada. In the spirit of reconciliation, I would also like to share these greetings in my first language, which is Woodland Cree. Nimadiditin, Tapitamatarwa, Temiskato, and Gichogamascoche, Elizabeth II, Kigichogamasquino, Otagitaskino, Canada. Nenanaskaman.
Thank you, Your Honor. It is also my pleasure to present greetings on behalf of the Honourable Laura Ross, Minister of Parks, Culture and Sport, and Minister responsible for the status of women.
Hello, I would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which I stand is Treaty 4 territory. Thank you for having me here today on behalf of Premier Scott Moe and the Government of Saskatchewan. I am very honored to be with all of you virtually at the 2021 Dimensions Award ceremony, presented by Saskatchewan Craft Council. This is a long-running tradition that brings Saskatchewan craftspeople together to showcase their terrific creations and skills every 2 years. And although we aren't able to all gather in person this year, I'm thankful we can continue this tradition and keep the Dimensions Awards going strong. The art of craftsmanship fits so perfectly in Saskatchewan cultural landscape, as our cultural community is filled with not only creative people, but with people who have the initiative to apply that creativity. This is what makes the arts heritage, multiculturalism, and creative Saskatchewan industry in Saskatchewan such a vibrant sector, which contributes greatly to the high quality of life that we enjoy in our province. The Saskatchewan Craft Council does such a great job in connecting the world to the experiences of Saskatchewan crafters. Thank you for your tremendous work in leading the way for the craftspeople of Saskatchewan and fostering an environment of excellence. Also, thank you to all the volunteers who make events such as this one run so smoothly. Your valuable efforts, talents, and time are very appreciated. And thank you to the adjudicators for their expertise and commitment to the 2021 Dimensions. Your job is not an easy one, with all of this incredible work. Good luck to all of those who have put so much time into their craft work. I hope everyone enjoys the 2021 Dimensions. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to now take a moment to tell you about the Dimensions Jurors who selected this wonderful exhibition of fine craft. Jane Kidd currently lives on Salt Spring Island in British Columbia. Her beautiful, technically demanding, and conceptually rich tapestries provoke profound questions about handcraft and disciplinary knowledge. In 2016, Jane was awarded the Sadie Bronfman Award, a Governor General's Award for Visual and Media Arts, Canada's foremost distinction for excellence in the visual arts. Greetings from Jane Kidd. Greetings to all my colleagues in Saskatchewan. Congratulations to the organizers and all of you who submitted to Dimensions 2021. Your commitment, skill, creative vision, and confidence in the process all contributed to the success of this important exhibition. I was grateful to have had the opportunity to be part of this process as a juror, and thoroughly enjoyed exploring all the work submitted. It was a rich and diverse field. Handmade objects hold a special place in contemporary culture, not just for the pleasure they offer to the viewer and user, but also as an interpersonal link between maker and viewer and a celebration of human ingenuity. Exhibitions like Dimensions 2021 that encourage and support craft practice in Canada are extremely important. These exhibitions encourage us as makers to think deeply and push our technical skills and creative visions into new territory, challenges that are essential to the future vitality of craft practice and the sustainability of craft as an important part of Canadian culture. My best wishes to you all for your future endeavors. David Freeman has custom-built exquisite musical instruments since 1980, training emerging luthiers since 1986. He builds with traditional and alternative woods, researching new sound concepts, drawing from various masters. David operates a private vocational school in musical instrument construction in Tegaski, Saskatchewan.
Thank you to all the participants in the 2021 Dimensions Show. 130 entries in a year of photos and descriptions. That took an extra effort on your part. Just as jurying from photos engaged our imaginations to the sizes and textures of the entry, it was an honor to be a juror under such circumstances. Working with Jane Kidd was a great experience. The exhibition staff at the SCC displayed great skill in coordinating all the programs and questions. Thank you to Maia, Stephanie, and Leah. Most of all, thank you to the SCC for continuing with the Dimensions exhibition under the new circumstances. I hope in the next 2 years, many of you watching get to view it in person. This evening, we will recognize the works from Dimensions 2021 that demonstrate the achievements of excellence, craftsmanship, creativity, and overall design. 14 prizes will be awarded for various media and merits. Having your work accepted to Dimensions is prestigious and should be celebrated on its own merits. Before we begin the presentation of the awards, we would like to announce all the selected works and artists alphabetically for Dimensions 2021.
Cold Winter's Night by Marcy Bast.
An homage to the fur trade which shaped this country, beaver and ermine furs plus Nunavut seal leather reflect aspects of Canadian culture and subsistence economies which are important to this day. These materials are biodegradable, unlike petroleum-based synthetics, combining sustainable resource use with functionality. The delicately colored ermine are a stark contrast against the black beaver night sky, creating the image of the aurora borealis, which paint the skies on the coldest nights.
Panning for Gold by Mel Boland.
This piece reminded me of the years that we had bees, industrious, complicated, and creative. A small homage to an insect that does nothing but good. They survive on precise engineering and ingenuity.
Winter Blues by Alison Brandt-Malinsky.
Winter Blues is a portrait of my husband in the midst of the Saskatchewan winter. We are told to stay home during this world pandemic. After a full year, I gathered the worn-out clothing, curtains, and furniture we created from around the house during this sedentary time. This material was cut, collaged, then finished with free motion, machine stitching to add details and bring these fabrics back to life in a new, rejuvenated form.
Folk Jacket by Susan M. Clark.
Inspired by European folk embroidered garments, I decided to make a hand-embroidered jacket that paid homage to tradition. My hand-painted silk lining incorporates wolf willow and wild prairie roses. I thought often of my grandmother, who supported her family as a seamstress in a northern Saskatchewan sawmill town while I stitched. Her family fled Seattle during the 1918 Spanish flu, seeking safety in sparsely populated northern Saskatchewan.
Shake Your Tail Feathers by Ron Cooley.
Shake Your Tail Feathers reflects a body of work I've been developing over several years, using macro photography along with focus stacking and digital painting techniques. Here, 14 image files are blended into one. The colors are not digitally manipulated. Brilliant sunshine illuminates a distant background tree that has retained its leaves all winter, creating the rich brown-orange hue. Refracted light gives the vivid blues in the ice crystals.
Bound Together by Cecilia J. Cote.
The plate symbolizes the Canadian cultural mosaic with the varying degrees of colored clay representing a blend of multi-races forming the makeup of the whole. Some move in harmony, while others burst out of formation. The barbed wire is binding, tight and secure in some areas, while loosely flowing in others, with existing tensions that change with the ebb and flow of relations within.
Sunny Pathway by Jane A. Evans.
A tranquil, refreshing sight in a sparkling woods prompted me to make the print Sunny Pathway. All my work offers calm, engaging, thought-provoking images of nature. Monotypes are printmaking's most painterly byway. Each is an entirely unique artwork. I hand-painted acrylics on glass, covered the wet paint with a handmade sheet of collaged oriental papers, hand-pressed the collaged paper down, then lifted it with the paint. Numerous lifts layered and built this final, one-of-a-kind picture.
Bluebird by Terry Franks.
The coming together of 3 events in February inspired this piece. The 1-year anniversary of the COVID-19 pandemic and all its health impacts, my Nigerian friend moving to an unfamiliar town during Black History Month, and the release of Miranda Lambert's song Bluebird, about keeping a light on in your soul and a bluebird in your heart to get through hard times.
Live Edge Stool by Michael Fulop.
I am a wood hoarder. I keep my eye peeled for even the smallest scrap of wood if it has interesting grain features, texture, or shape. The legless stool was one such piece. Sitting in a log pile, waiting to be sacrificed to the fire, I rescued it, for I saw what were stool legs in its soul.
Tea Box by Michael Fulop.
The patterns on this box were inspired by Japanese yosegi marquetry. Like most crafts, woodworking has a waste component. A bit of waste that's just too small to keep, but too big to throw away, and always feels ashamed to dispose of. I took on the challenge to make something beautiful and find practicality in what would normally be headed for the dumpster.
Moose Sculpture by Cameron Garby.
Moose sculpture is rooted in my love for the outdoors and the raw beauty of Earth's cycles. Hunting for antler sheds is a seasonal pastime for my pooch and I. On these hikes, the contrast of warming life and cold relics is ever apparent. This piece is the first of a series that I am currently working on. As an ode to carving and architectural design, I chose filigree, inspired by the acanthus leaf.
Black Magic by Gary Greer.
I wanted a different finish on my blade for Dimensions 2021. Instead of the usual mirror polish knife blade, I used acid to darken the blade first. I then fabricated a rotating tumbling machine filled with an aggregate to apply a random scratch pattern on the surface of the blade. Shed elkhorn was chosen for the handles. Black micarta was used for the bolsters. I then added some fancy foil work to the spine and added a mosaic pin as well for some added sparkle.
Converging by Jude Haraldson.
The warp yarns were colored by snow dyeing, which results in random changes throughout the shawl. Prepared yarns are placed on a screen, then covered with snow. Dyes, placed on top of the snow, color the yarns as the snow melts and distributes the dye. Two similar warps were interspersed in even sections to achieve the color shifts from end to end. The 2/2 twill weaving pattern reverses direction at the center.
I'm Coming Home by Heather Hochbaum.
The blocks are based on the traditional pattern log cabin cornerstone variation. Home is synonymous with comfort and safety. The world's climate of political, economic, and health insecurities has made many of us wanting to come home to feel safe. The bold and contrasting colors in this quilt mimic the discomfort we are feeling, and yet the pattern is somehow soothing in its familiarity.
Entrance/sofa table by Robert Holowati.
My inspiration for my entrance table was the circle of life. My design starts in a quiet room with a pencil and some paper. Interesting shapes start to take place, and a lot of them take place in the middle of the night. I took down an American elm log in 2017. I roughly milled it up and let it rest in my back shed for 2 years to dry. The last few years I've been exploring steam bending techniques in my furniture. When the wood is dry and ready to work, I do a full-scale drawing and forms start to take shape. I use natural joinery and a free-form design that I use in most of my furniture projects now. After the surface preparation is completed, I apply 4 to 5 applications of hand-rubbed natural oil finish to keep the wood alive and well.
Drifts and Frost by Cindy Hoppy.
This piece is a portrait of a collapsing hand-hewn building on a yard I regularly walk to. I have highlighted frost, textures, and shadows to praise the beauty of winter and challenge myself with a limited palette.
Ulu Bell by Grant Irons.
Ulu Bell was a technical, thought-provoking challenge. Technically, to achieve the swept central line down to a sharpened edge, 4 compound angles were required to be ground. Acid etching the blade brought forward patterns that have history of the making process and reminds one of the rugged beauty of the environment and the ingenuity and hardiness of the people who first designed, made, and used an ulu. As the ulu took shape, a ringing sound appeared, which inspired the name Ulu Bell.
Out of the Deep by Sarah Lightfoot Wagner.
The inspiration for this piece came from a small pipe that was found on the beach. The shape and patina of the pipe inspired the design and finish of this wooden lidded box. Made from a single piece of wood, the grain has been highlighted with pyrography. The box has an undulating carved edge that fits snugly under the carved concave lid. The finish is a gradient between milk paint and aniline dye.
Ribbons of Copper by Dale Lowe.
My piece was inspired by an antique chairback that was highly carved with an overlapping pattern. As my pattern started to develop, the round vessel shape caused the pattern to morph into overlapping ribbons. The ribbons then began to feel like they were floating, as in a long ribbon of copper-colored fabric being carried in a parade. The vessel was wood-turned with deep relief carving to create the ribbons, and then the background was wood-burned.
Dogwood and Cranberry Basket by Morley Meyer.
This very old European style of frame basketry is sometimes referred to as farmer-made. Its simple construction and readily available materials allowed ordinary folks to make strong and useful containers. This basket is woven with red osier dogwood. The frame and ribs are willow. The handle is high bush cranberry. All of these native shrubs are common throughout most of our province.
Cranberry Flats by Chloe Meadows.
Cranberry Flats was created out of a desire to be somewhere else, specifically outside. This winter felt particularly isolating with the cold temperatures on the prairies and COVID restrictions. This was a positive way of responding for me. The location chosen is open and beautiful and loved by many people in Saskatoon, and I wanted to create a little light at the end of the winter tunnel.
Alive Inside by Cecile Miller.
Every home has its own energy or soul created by those living within it. As we have spent much time isolating in our homes during the pandemic, I revisited the house theme in my work. As a body or a dwelling, we can either feel confined, frustrated, or come to appreciate things taken for granted: safety, security, and time of inner quiet or reflection. May your home echo with warm voices, good vibes, movement, and creativity.
In the Moment by Claude A. Morin.
My piece is hand-built using a Saskatchewan-based clay. The piece is multi-glazed, which includes local materials like Alberta slip. The art is high-fired in a gas kiln. The organic form includes asymmetrical aspects reflecting emergence in nature. The oxides used create tones and colors found in prairie landscapes.
Altered Bowl by Akiko Miomura.
I started to practice altered shapes more than a few years ago. One of my thoughts of altering shape was getting out of the complete circle and adding curves to create one and only pieces. It turned out to make one of the kinds of unique aesthetic appearances on each piece. This bowl may be a decorative piece. However, I would like to see it as a daily use tableware.
In the Company of Friends by John Peet.
In the Company of Friends. This piece examines family history using images from a photo album my grandfather kept in the 1920s. He grew up in orphanages for boys, and I was struck by the absence of girls and women in the album. It's filled with images of groups of young men camping at the beach and playing hockey. I hope the viewer is engaged both by the use of repetition to create patterns and by the images themselves.
40 Plus Years in the Making, Women and Clay by Deborah Potter.
The 60s and 70s were exciting times at the Regina campus ceramics departments, where an interest in clay production, and ceramic sculpture developed and thrived. The 12 women represented in this work are all a product of that time and place and went on to produce unique and substantial bodies of work. Some have passed, others have moved on, while many continue to enjoy getting their hands dirty with a little bit of mud.
The Family Tree by Evan Quick.
The sculpture is an homage to 4 Regina and area artists whose invaluable contribution to the making of art has been widely appreciated for many years. Each artist, Victor Sikansky, Joe Fafard, Wilf Perot, and David Thauberger, is depicted in his own uniquely familiar surroundings. The central tree dominates. The fruits are a metaphor for family: pear, peach, apple, and orange, an artist's family member, hence the title of the piece.
Why Does Anyone Want This? By Joanne Sauter.
For me, this piece is about the things in life I'm expected to want and strive for, even fight for, and the expectation that this be done with a smile on my face and in a bubbly way, like this fluffy cotton candy pink. Will I remain unable to understand why I am supposed to want these things in the first place? It is intended to be viewed from multiple viewpoints, as life is.
Kindling by Regan Schneider.
I remember to forget. I listen to silence, closing my eyes to see a tempest of tranquility. He emerges from my imagination as lightning appears in a storm. I find kindling. My hands sculpt towards the narrative. Kindling, kissed by wildfire, with the complexion of burnt wood. The birds continued to sing as kindling glided through the bush. Sometimes seen, never heard. Every cold northern night, sharing the firelight. Clan he loved, warmth he had.
Storage Jar by Jeff Stewart. This piece was fired in the Lake Lenore wood kiln. My goal is to create forms that will interact with the kiln's atmosphere. Boreal Diversity by Donna Stockdale.
Boreal Diversity invites viewers to experience an imaginary forest floor in northern Saskatchewan's Boreal Shield and to celebrate nature's diversity. So much to see if one looks closely. Wet felted forms suggest a decaying log, leafy peltigera lichen, cladonia cup and horn lichen, tree-like moss forms, and moss's wiry fruiting bodies. Machine-stitched thread created lacy moss among the lichen and over the log. The Joom sheet technique transformed paper into fallen alder, birch, and poplar leaves.
Cascades by Lorraine Suter.
Wheel-thrown, burnished, electric-fired, horsehair is applied to the hot surface, cooled, wax-based colors added, several coats of clear wax applied, polished to protect the surface.
Vase by Bahang Tran.
This piece is influenced by my mental image of a Japanese-style vase, which is round and low. It consists of a single, uncut, unglued square of Indian embossed paper, which had been manipulated into its sided symmetry through expert folding techniques. The wide opening allows the viewer to observe the vase from both the outside and inside.
Survival by Ruben Unger.
Survival is an American kestrel holding a wing of a house sparrow. The piece is designed to tastefully display survival in nature. The sculpture shows the kestrel aggressively protecting his catch from a predator. The combination of a sparrow wing and the kestrel is a play on words, as the American kestrel is often nicknamed the sparrowhawk. The American kestrel is anatomically correct, with each feather textured to enhance realism.
La Mia Cucina, My Kitchen by Deb Verschagen.
La Mia Cucina, My Kitchen has become a safe, familiar space to find comfort, nourish, create, and isolate. This is a two-piece open baker on stand. The open baker is a glazed, functional baking vessel with carved outer sides and handles, with the underside carved and unglazed. The open baker stand is carved and glazed on the top where the open baker sits, and is carved, glazed, and pierced on the outside walls, completing this two-piece set.
All of the people involved in this exhibition of contemporary craft have succeeded in creating exceptional work. Congratulations to all the craftspeople and artists in Dimensions 2021.
Tonight, we recognize the most outstanding of those works by the granting of awards. The ongoing success of Dimensions depends on the generous support of a number of organizations and individuals. The award sponsors make a substantial contribution to Dimensions, each focusing on a different area of craft creation. The SCC acknowledges the contributions of sponsors and greatly appreciates their ongoing commitment. The award for excellence in fine craft is awarded to a work that displays achievements in excellence, craftsmanship, creativity, or overall design in any craft media. This award is generously sponsored by Artisans Craft Market Cooperative. I'm honored to present the award for excellence in fine craft to Jeff Stewart for Storage Jar.
This award is sponsored by Marigold Crib. The award for excellence in printmaking or photography is awarded to a work that displays achievements in its excellence, craftsmanship, creativity, or overall design in printmaking and photography. I am pleased and honored to present the award for excellence in printmaking or photography to Jane A. Evans for Sunny Pathway.
The award for excellence in quilting is awarded to a work that displays outstanding design, artistry, and workmanship in quilting. This award is generously sponsored by the Saskatoon Quilters Guild. I'm honored to present the award for excellence in quilting to Heather Hochbaum, I'm Coming Home.
The award for excellence in wood is awarded to a work that displays achievements in excellence, craftsmanship, and creativity in overall design in wood. This award is generously sponsored by the Saskatchewan Woodworkers Guild. I am pleased to present the award for excellence in wood to Robert Halawadi for Entrance Sofa Table.
The award for excellence in textiles is awarded to a work that displays achievements in excellence, craftsmanship, creativity, or overall design in textiles. This award is generously sponsored by the Saskatchewan Weavers and Spinners. I'm pleased to present the award for excellence in textiles to Joanne Sauter. Why does anyone want this?
This award recognizes and encourages work that is rooted in the utilitarian history of fine craft objects. This award is presented to a work that displays excellence in craftsmanship, creativity, and design in functional and/or production wear. This award is generously sponsored by Cecilia J. Cote. I am pleased to present the award for excellence in functional or production wear to Deb Verschagen, La Mia Cucina, My Kitchen.
The award for excellence in clay is awarded to a work that displays achievements in excellence, craftsmanship, creativity, or overall design in ceramics. This award is generously sponsored by Handmade House and T&T Tree Pottery Supply. I'm honored to present the award for excellence in clay to Evan Quick, The Family Tree.
The award for excellence in metal is awarded to a work that displays achievements in excellence, craftsmanship, creativity, and overall design in metal. This award is generously sponsored by the Saskatchewan Blacksmith Association. I am pleased to present the award for excellence in metal to Gary Greer for Black Magic.
The Leslie Potter Award for Excellence in Sculpture was established in 2017 to honor the contributions to the Dimensions program from longtime SCC staff member and artist Leslie Potter upon his retirement. This award is presented to a work that displays achievements in excellence, craftsmanship, creativity, or overall design in sculpture. This award is generously sponsored by the Saskatchewan Craft Council. I'm honored to present the Leslie Potter Award for Excellence in Sculpture to Ruben Unger, Survival.
The SCC Merit Award is presented to an SCC member in good standing at the time of jurying. It is not tied to a specific craft, medium, and recognizes achievements in excellent craftsmanship, innovation, and overall design and craft. The SCC Merit Award is generously sponsored by Cindy Hoppy. I am pleased to present the SCC Merit Award to Sarah Lightfoot Wagner for Out of the Deep.
The Corinne McKay Merit Award is presented to an SCC member and is dedicated to the memory of Corinne McKay. Corinne was a beloved person in the Saskatchewan craft and art world. She was part of the SCC staff for many years. This SCC Merit Award was renamed in 2005 to honor Corinne's memory and her contributions. This award recognizes achievements in excellence, craftsmanship, and/or overall design in craft. This award is generously sponsored by the Saskatchewan Craft Council. I'm honored to present the Corinne McKay Merit Award to Deborah Potter for her work, 40+ years in the making, Women in Clay.
This award was established by the Friends of Gale Steck in her memory. Gale was a well-known Saskatchewan artisan and potter, one of the founding members of Handmade House in Saskatoon, as well as a lifelong advocate of artists and craftspeople. The purposes of the award are to encourage emerging and developing craft talents and to foster and recognize early artistic technical excellence in Saskatchewan craft. The Gale Steck Memorial Award for Excellence in Craft by an Emerging Artist is generously sponsored by the Gale Steck Memorial Committee. I'm pleased to present this award to Terry Franks for Bluebird.
The Jane Turnbull Evans Award for Innovation in Craft is awarded in honor of the late artist, arts advocate, and SaskArts staff member, Jane Turnbull Evans, and has been awarded to a work in Dimensions since 2000. It is awarded to the most innovative work as judged by our jury. This award is generously sponsored by SaskArts. I'm honored to present the Jane Turnbull Evans Award to Donna Stockdale for Boreal Diversity.
Congratulations to all the award winners. And now for our final award of Dimensions 2021. This is the third time that the award for Outstanding Entry has been sponsored by Diana Milenkovic and Frank Hart. In addition to their support for Dimensions, Diana and Frank have purchased several pieces of work through our gallery and special programs, such as Art Now. We thank them for their continual support of the Artists of Saskatchewan Craft Council. I'm honored to present the Dimensions 2021 Award for the Outstanding Entry to John Pete for In the Company of Friends.
40 years ago, as a young potter, it was my goal to have a piece selected for the Saskatchewan Craft Council Dimensions exhibition. To receive this award surpasses any expectations I may have had, especially when I see the caliber of the work that's been submitted. I was particularly struck by two pieces, one by Debbie Potter, the other by Evan Quick. They remind me of the strong and supportive arts community we have in Saskatchewan. 40 years ago, when I first came to the province, I spent one of the coldest and loneliest winters of my life. The following spring, I visited the open house at the University of Regina by the Department of Extension. While there, I watched a young redhead woman throwing pots. It was Anne McClellan. I was fascinated and registered for the next class available. Joining the Extension Clay community was life-changing for me. Through instruction by Donovan Chester and Helen Rogers, and the interaction with a vibrant community of students and artists, I soon realized that clay was not going to be a hobby for me, but is what I wanted to do. I soon became involved with the Saskatchewan Craft Council when Martha Cole invited me to join the committee she chaired. It was while in Saskatoon on SCC Business that Sandy Lettingham introduced me to a new type of food and took me to the first Vietnamese restaurant in the city. It was also at a sale in Saskatoon that my confidence as a potter took a big boost when an artist whose work I had admired for a long time, Anita Rakamora, asked me if I would like to make a trade. In 1990, I entered the BFA program at the University of Regina, studying with Jack Sears and Vic Sikansky. Jack's love of clay and his commitment to his work, and Vic's creative vision provided me with great role models and inspiration. It would take me way too long to list all the great people in Saskatchewan's craft and clay communities who have supported and inspired me. I hope we continue to support further generations of artists and craftspeople. Finally, I'd like to thank the Saskatchewan Craft Council and the great staff for the important work they do for craftspeople in the province. I would also like to thank the jurors of this exhibition for the difficult job they have to do and for the confidence they've shown in my work. Diane Milakovic and Frank Hart are the sponsors for the Dimensions Award for the Outstanding Entry. This exhibition and the award are so important to Saskatchewan craft and craftspeople. Your support is extremely appreciated. Thank you.
Congratulations, John.
Dimensions 2021 will be showing at the Saskatchewan Craft Council Gallery until August 28th. We encourage you to promote this exhibition among your friends, relatives, and colleagues. The ongoing success of Dimensions depends upon the generous support of a number of organizations, in particular Creative Saskatchewan and the City of Saskatoon. Thank you for your support. Thank you, everyone. Please enjoy your evening.